All right, so we're going to do some compound inequalities. All right, so when we see compound inequalities, first thing we should do is just solve both of them. All right, so let's do that very quickly. All right, so minus 60, we get negative 4x is less than 12. On the next step, I'm going to divide by negative 4. Alert, whenever we do that, whenever we divide by a negative, right, divide by a negative, we have to flip. We must flip the sign. So this is going to say x now is greater than negative 3. Okay. On the other side, if I subtract 11, do all this, 14x is less than negative 42. Now I'm not dividing by a negative, just dividing by a positive. This turns out x is less than negative 3. All right, now, key word here, once we've done this, is the word or. So what we've just said is x can be either greater than negative 3 or x can be less than negative 3. On a number line, that would look like this. Here's negative 3 because it's the same result in both of these. X can be greater than negative 3. Everything on this side, negative 3. Or x can be less than negative 3. Everything over here. So essentially, x can be anything except negative 3. Right? It could be. So another way we could say this is x cannot equal negative 3. You might see that. All right? Otherwise, we're going to choose letter A on this one. That's the word or. If the word had been slightly different, right? So let's just look at this. What if the word said and? Before we move on, what if it said and? Right? So let's draw out that situation. Here's negative 3. X is greater than negative 3. And x is less than negative 3. The problem with using the word and is both things have to be true. Tell me where the shaded area overlaps. Does it ever overlap where x, the part I shaded, is greater than negative 3 and also less than negative 3? That doesn't make any sense, right? If that was the case, there would be no solution, and we would actually choose this right here, because there isn't a number that is both greater than negative 3 and at the same time less than negative 3. All right, that doesn't exist. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Now we see the word and let's see what happens. All right, if we solve all it out, add 39 here, we get 4x is greater than negative 4. We divide by 4. X is greater than negative 1. All right, so let's go ahead and just chart that real quick. Negative 1. Greater than negative 1, that would mean this. Everything on this side of negative 1. Next one, it says, let's subtract here. 8x is less than negative 8. We divide by 8. We get x is less than negative 1. Oh, that looks familiar, doesn't it? In that case, there is no situation where x is both greater than negative 1 and less than negative 4, right? There are no solutions. Let's do another one. Let's skip this or. Let's move on. Let's do another and one. All right, so now let's subtract 5. We get negative 9x is less than 12. I have to divide by negative 9, so I need to flip the sign. And 12 divided by negative 9 is negative 4/3. I'll let you guys do the work on the fraction on that one. All right, if I subtract 25, I get 13x is less than negative 26. I'm not dividing by a negative. So now this just x is less than negative 2. If I take negative 26 divided by 13. All right, now let's sketch this out on a number line. Negative 4/3. Well, negative 4/3 is really like negative 1.333, right? Repeating. And then there's negative 1.3 repeating. Negative 2 is on the left side of that. So let's do this. First one, x is greater than negative 4/3. X is greater than negative 4/3. X is less than negative 2. Less than negative 2. Is there any point in time, again, the word and means overlap. Is there any point in time where they overlap? No, there is not. Choice A would be the situation where my arrows, my inequality signs, were pointing in the other way in which they are right now. So what if I had something like this, where I had something pointed that way, right? And the other one pointing that way, where there is an overlap. Where's the overlap? The overlap is in between these two. So if, for example, this one had been pointing the other direction, and this one had been pointing the other direction, if that happened, we'd be talking about this situation right here, and we would answer letter A, because the word and means where do they overlap. All right, but in this situation, again, there are no solutions. All right.